Good afternoon, everybody, and I hope we're all doing okay. I'm just going to quickly do the normal routine of quickly logging into YouTube and just making sure that the sound's coming through okay. So just going to quickly turn it up and speak. There we go. Perfect, it's working. So welcome to the review of the Got Friends AS33 Me glider. So first time reviewing a glider on here, which should be good. This is our third attempt at doing it. The first one we had a couple of issues with the controls, so we come off and set them up. The second one, done the review, got up in the air, and we ended up having way too much fun, making a few mistakes on the way because we were having too much fun. Which I thought actually I shouldn't really be trying to have fun and testing the aircraft to its absolute limits on a review. It's a bit unprofessional. So got rid of those two videos, and we're starting again with this one, and hopefully this one will be a little bit better than my previous two attempts. So let's talk about the aircraft then. So the Got Friends developers. So I have reviewed and given an 8.5 out of 10 for the latest aircraft that was released on PlayStation 5, and that was the Vixen, which I thought was a fantastic aircraft. Now I have had a little bit of a play on this. I have had a flight or two in this. I've played with the tow plane, and I'll save my thoughts for actually when we get into the review. However, my expectations based on the Vixen are high. Okay, so Got Friends, I've not flown them before. The Vixen, I just thought the Vixen was fantastic. So my standards are already high for this aircraft. A little bit about the aircraft. So it is a high-performance glider designed by Alexander Schleiler. I think that's how you say it. And obviously it's been brought to the simulator by Got Friends. It's a fully self-launching system with an electric prop-driven motor, which basically pops out of the top. And it has the ability to launch via a motor, a winch, aero tow, or itself. So the four launch methods, this has obviously got all four. Now, this was introduced as a successor to the ASG29 and is available in both 15 and 18 meter wingspans. So when we go on to the aircraft itself and go on to the liveries, you can see here you have the 15 meter and the 18 meter, and it tells you the range here of 130 kilometers. Now the thing is with obviously this range here is that you could basically stay up for as long as you want in a glider, so it doesn't really mean much. However, the climb performance and the actual glide ratio, etc., will obviously be better on the aircraft with the longer wingspan. Also here, a little bit inaccurate, 1130 litres an hour. I don't know whether that's the power consumption of the battery, but obviously it's got no fuel, so it's not using fuel. Right, a couple of things to look at then is the both gliders there, the 15 and the 18, but they also come with a selection of liveries, as you can see here, and we're going to go for, let's have a look, what can we go for? Is there anything funky here? Sim Soaring Club, Soaring Diamonds, Steve Fly Stratus, We Sim Glide Tech we're going to go with a Cirrus skin. I've flown a couple of Cirruses before. Let's go Cirrus here. It also has the ability to select your launch method in terms of an aero tow. So we're going to use the Wilga tow plane. I'll talk about that in just a second. If you want to go for a winch launch, you can select your winch wagon here, which is cool. And we'll go for because you can go for a truck on this. So there's a couple of ways you can do a winch launch. In reality, for those that don't know, you can either have a launch situated usually at the end of the runway, and it's a hydraulic winch, or obviously other means of propulsion are available, and it basically launches you into the sky. The other thing that you can have is a motor, a car. Okay, so a car basically hurtles down the runway with you in tow. Now, in real life, I've used both winches and I've used motor tows. And let's have a look, see what we can use here. let's go for the Got Friends truck, shall we? We'll have a look at that one. So it's important that you set these up for the game, so for the sim. I don't like calling it a game. And what we did forget to do then was to also select the autonomous. I think, let's have a look. I think it's only one, isn't it? Yeah, it's only one. Okay, so we've selected our aero tow. We're going to go up on the Wilga, and we've selected our winch launch. Oh, it's just defaulted. Hang on, let's go back. Let's do it in two methods. Let's go back here. So again, I don't know why that didn't save. Let's use the truck, the Got Friends truck. There it is. So we'll select that. Perfect. Okay, now with the A32 Vixen, the other good thing about this aircraft, which costs £22 by the way, is you don't just get the Vixen, so you don't just get the glider, you get the Wilga stow tow plane. Now this review isn't going to be based on that, however I have had a fly of it and it is pretty darn swell. We can have a look at that a little bit later on. I know that it's available in the marketplace, but for here, initially when I saw this and I worked it out at 100 Simverse points, which works out around £22, I thought that's quite expensive for a glider. What Got Friends have done, they've obviously introduced the carts with it as well, and the ability to get it launched with different vehicles. They've also given you a prop plane as well. Now, like they did with the Vixen, they gave you McKnight Airfield. They've given you something free here as well. So you get two aircraft for the price of one, really. So again, that price actually now of £22 doesn't look so steep at all. Okay, so we've had a look now at the developer. We've looked at the price, what's included, the manual. So the manual is available. And again, it's exactly what you'd expect from Got Friends. It's available on their website, gives you about the history of the aircraft, gives you its performance stats, and then a little bit of troubleshooting, etc. It doesn't give you the manual for flight, so the pre-flight checks, how to start the engine, etc. Or the motor. I keep calling it an engine, it's a motor. And that is because it's fully integrated into the aircraft's EFB. And we will have a look at that in a short while. With regards to support and updates, so support with every Got Friends product, it says in the description that you can get support by emailing them. And then with regards to updates at the moment, I think it's flying pretty well from what I've seen before. I can't envisage any updates on the horizon, although they do state in the manual that they are currently in talks with the sim developers, whether that's Sobo, Sony, Microsoft, etc., to try and get a little bit more added realism for gliders. They found a few issues with it when they've released the gliders that are just because of the sim. One of the things they do state in the manual is actually you can't start the aircraft cold and dark at a gate. Now what I found is you actually can. Obviously if you are self-propelled, you can then whip your motor up and taxi to the runway, which is what we will do in a minute. It gives us the best possible chance of having a look at the aircraft. So without further ado, let's have a look at the aircraft then. So what we're going to do, I am going to take us to the airfield that I have done plenty of gliding from previously, and that is Coldrose. Unfortunately, their gliding club has just closed down, which is a great shame. So I'm now going to have to move further afield for my gliding. Noticing the wind straight away, so we've got good wind here. Wind's fine, but we do have a crosswind, so we'll have to bear that in mind later on. Now, one thing I will say is that I have found this a little bit harder than a real glider to fly, primarily because I haven't obviously got the feedback coming through the stick, but also it is mega sensitive. Okay, you'll see that when I launch in self-launching mode, it is quite awkward, and I still haven't just yet got the hang of it. But give me a few more flights in it, and I'm sure I'll be an ace, he says. Don't quote me on it. Okay, so the aircraft. So again, we're in the 18-meter wingspan here. So let's have a look then. You can see that wing's just gone down because of the wind. So my first thoughts on looking at it, yeah, looks like a glider. It looks good. My second thought is, because we are cold and dark and we are in basically a stowed configuration here with the covers and the blanks and the chocks, what I would have liked to have seen is the ability to restrain our wings. So in most cases, what you'd have stands on the wings, or you'd have tie downs with weights, etc. But basically, or you'd have a sack of sand or something on the wing tip here, keeping the wings either level so they can't go anywhere, or obviously on the floor like so. The thing with this, because it's on the floor, when I come to do a control check shortly, actually because I've got no one holding my wing, my controls will actually end up impacting the floor, which is obviously something we don't want in a real glider. We'll start at the canopy then, and we'll go and have a look at the detail, and we'll carry out the checks as we would in the real world. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the canopy cover. And another thing that we've picked up on here is, to get into a cockpit of a glider, you would have to push the push window here and put your hand in and undo the canopy. It doesn't have that system on this. So you can see we've got a hot spot there. The inlet cover, we'll do that in a minute. But if I click on this to open the canopy, it gets me in. Okay, so that isn't it's something that they could have worked on, but in the grand scheme of things, no one's really going to know if they haven't flown gliders in reality. Now, for the purpose of this, I'm going to leave the canopy open. However, you would absolutely not do this in the real world, because if that canopy comes down, gets a gust of wind, it's going to land on the frame and it's probably going to smash. Okay, so primarily you would always have the canopy down when you're doing your pre-flights until you get in. Okay, so let's have a look at the details then. So we've had a look at a wing already. So the first thing I'm going to do is we'll finish there. We'll start at the nose. So we'll have a look at the canopy. Canopy looks fine, no delaminations, no cracks, no breaks. We come down to the side of the aircraft. Here everything looks fine and everything looks good. Usually here I would carry out a control check with someone holding the wing from outside, so I can view all the control surfaces move. I would do that as part of a daily inspection, with the daily inspection log usually being found in one of these pockets here. However, because I'm outside the aircraft, I can't do that, so we'll do the control check shortly. Coming under, one thing I've noticed as well before this this stream, I'll get rid of those chocks, is that the underbody latching system for the tow line, you can't see it. And actually, when you do set up a winch launch, the rope comes up through and it goes into the fuselage. Again, for me, knowing how gliders are built and constructed, I was a bit let down by that, because you've got the aerotow the aerotow hook here, but you haven't got it on the underside of the aircraft. Instead, it goes up into the undercarriage area. However, again, on this aircraft, it actually goes through the floor of the glider, which is a bit of a shame. So coming through and round, I'll be checking the tyres, making sure they're in good condition, and checking to make sure the flaps on here are still secure. Looking closer, obviously we'd have a look inside, but we're going to do that bit in a minute. We're having another look at the wing and the control surfaces. Now this glider has an air brake above the wing. Sometimes they come through the wing and go below it as well, but this is an above wing configuration. Coming across, we check the rubber stops here, check the winglets, and we'll check the ailerons. Now this is the only control surface out of the three main ones that we can't actually move up and down. Whether they've done that because I risk impacting the floor over here, I don't know. You can see it is a little bit windy as well here. Looking at the flaps, okay, examine the flaps. There we go, and examining the air brake looks fine, okay. And usually what you'd do, I can't do it now, you'd look inside the wing as well, to where the air brakes are, where you can see the air brakes there. Coming across here then, you've got your inlet for your engine. So for your motor, I'd probably say it's more of an outlet, to be fair, because when we're going forward, you're not going to get any air into there. I don't know whether it's like I don't know how it works with this. I've not actually done the research as to why we've got that, because it is a motor. But I'd imagine it's a cooling duct, But yeah, that's going into it a little bit too far. Coming down, checking the body then. Checking the body of the aircraft. Aircraft looks fine. And I'd have a look here to see if there's any dollies. So a dolly is a piece of equipment that goes over the tail that basically takes the tail wheel out of action. Has a wheel on it that we can actually move left, right, backwards and forwards instead of damaging this tail. Next thing I do is I check the control linkages for the rudder. You can check the rudder here, full right and full left and get the tick. I'd also check split pins, etc. of those controls, making sure they are free. I would take off the pitot cover, and now you'll see the pitot mast comes on. There it is. And I'd look at the tail plane, or stabilizer, whatever you want to call it. We look at the elevator, here we go. We can go full up and full down. There we go. And again, the other thing I would be checking for here is the pin that securely locates this into the tail to make sure that is fully secured. Rudder we have checked, and again I check the control linkages here. Now we have the ability to add ballast on here. Okay, we've got ballast in at the moment in the form of water. And we carry on walking around. We're carrying out these checks. We continue carrying out these checks. The other thing I'm going to do is when the motor comes up, we check inside the motor and make sure that we're happy with that as well. Another check of the left flap. Sorry, a check of the left flap. Check of the wheel. And obviously we would have checked the tail wheel as well. Coming around, good opportunity here now to look into the compartment where the speed brakes are housed and to check all the linkages of the speed brakes. And again, in reality, on a real aircraft, you'd be bringing that wing down to have a look. And we'd also now check the ailerons. So that is the aircraft external check complete. That is A of our A, B, C, D, E checks. Okay, and from here now, I would be looking at stuff before I get in. Bear in mind, we would have to, if we're not self-launching, or even if we were self-launching, I'd be walking this through the runway, but I'd also carry out other checks here as well. For the purpose of this, before we do conduct the other checks, we're going to have a look inside and have a look at the aircraft. So here we go, we'll pull the canopy lever down and we'll have a quick look at the aircraft from inside. So one thing to look at straight away is our ability to see the control runs here. Now the yaw pedal adjuster doesn't work on here, but you can see it's got the clicky bits for it on the rails, and you can see here that it is cable driven, as you can see here, and the rudders work and are full and free. And then looking around here, you can see your stick as well, your cyclic. I call it a cyclic, but a control stick, whatever you want to call it. Right, cyclic is obviously the term for a helicopter, and that's unfortunately the term I always use. We've got this carbon fibre sort of feel to the cockpit, which is quite nice. And we'll talk about the instruments in a minute. And we've got the old plasticky, like weathered kind of cockpit cover panel here. One thing I did notice on the initial walk around is actually some of these panels here would be capsules. And you can see the compass is really the only one. I'd be expecting my analog dials to have capsules at the back, particularly the air related ones, and I'd probably expect to see, pitot lines heading into the back of them as well. We don't have that on this, but again, it's behind the cockpit. No one's going to know unless they actually know what the system comprises of. Looking again, we talk about the high detail of Got Friends. Have a look at the seats. So the stitching, for example, is fantastic. It's got the breather holes in the seats as well, and they carried that on into the straps as well. So you can see the straps here, again, like you'd expect to see on a real world aircraft as well, with the buckles, the twist. I can't check that because if I twist that, I basically come out of the canopy. It's telling me to check the canopy now because it wants the canopy to be open, and then I'd use that to get out. So my dog's barking, sorry. Do apologise for that. That was the dog barking. Right, come in the back here. What we're going to do is the battery is currently on this aircraft. We're going to bring the prop up. I say the prop, the motor. Have a look at that now. As that's coming up, there we go. You can see it coming up. And if we go above, this is another check that we'll do. Part of exterior. Going to check the wire locking on the prop, which is anti-wire locked. So that is not how you wire lock a component. So because the bolt turns to the right, that wire locking should be on the other side coming down here. So whilst that's quite nitty gritty, that's something that could be fed back to Got Friends, that they've actually anti-wire locked that. And if that does come loose, they're all going to come loose. And this is the motor here, okay, clearly going down with the power lines through the poles to the battery. Going back down here, you see the cables coming out. And then the other thing that I quite like here, there's your battery system there, is your flight data recorder. Again, when you look at this, look at the detail of this. The detail for the ELT, for the location, locator tracker is fantastic. Look at that. So 406, or it should be 403, at 121.5 megahertz, that's obviously the emergency frequency, working at 406. And 121 megahertz, so it's pretty realistic again. And then you've actually got the battery expiration date that we check. That is out of date. We wouldn't be flying this aircraft. However, for the sake of this, we will. Okay, coming back into the cockpit now, I'll go through what we're looking at here. We've got our pouch, and in that pouch would usually be our checklist and our DI book. And then you've got the performance rating information here, your loading placard, and obviously your V&E, your V speeds here. It also tells you about the force required, as you can see there, for the weak links. Now, I flew on an aero tow earlier on, and I flew on a winch tow, and I broke the link twice as we were testing it, and it was pretty darn good. Okay, so clearly states that acrobatics and cloud flying are not permitted in this aircraft. That's a shame, because I've done acrobatics earlier on. Whoops. And then you've got your air brakes. Air brakes here. Now, because we're inside the aircraft, let's put them away. There we go. So I'm going to check those halfway, and then I'm making sure that that's locked. Hopefully it will lock. It's not locking. Let's bring them back out. What's going on here? Let's come back. There we go, it's locked, just because I hovered over it. So again, one of the checks before we depart is to make sure that that is down in that position there. If it's slightly out like that, you can see our air brakes. See if we can go outside. You see them slightly lifting. So from where we're sat and our eye line, we can only just about see them. Okay, so it's really important. That is one check that's carried out before we depart, is that the speed brakes are not down. Sorry, up. I have departed in a real life glider with those up before, not realising it's come unlocked. Because it come unlocked on the launch. Next one is our flaps case. We've got 6 flap settings here. We can check our flaps. Won't do it now, but we can check them. Actually, I will do it now. Let's get off that blue. There we go. So you can see all those flap settings there. And we'll get them back. And as you can see there, you've got your tow cable release. Now, I have just binded that to the controller. Let's make sure that that's working. Yep, there we go. Okay. And when we do use that, we do a double pull. Now, coming through the aircraft cockpit now, we've got variometers here, and you've got the one there. We have our bug wipers there. We've got circuit breaker here. We have our cabin vent there. We've got airspeed indicator, radio and transponder there. Fire warnings here. We've got circuit breakers for our systems here. Battery selector modes. Engine levers here. We've got the trim release there on the cyclic. And we've got our navigation computer here. We have our anti-collision lights, which will turn on. We've got our FLARM here, which again is on. We've got engine shutdown switch there, and we've got our what is this? Let's see, altitude indicator as well there. Compass there, and we've also got our ballast switches here to open them and to shut them off. Now it says open, off or shut. These only have 2 positions, okay, so just be wary of that. If you are seeing them where they're shut and you want to put them in the off position, just be aware you're actually going to release your ballast. And then here you've got your undercarriage lever. And then what's quite nice, so you've got your pre-flight check here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set this. We've got an aircraft to our right apparently. Let's have a look. It's probably the tow truck, if the tow truck's on our frequency, but it's showing that we've got an aircraft here. Don't know where it is. We'll have a look in a minute. Okay. So everything's looking good. So I won't go into the computer too much here because that is something that will take quite a while to show you how to use it all. However, what's quite important is this page here. If you go onto page, you can set all your units here. You can request a launch, and you can also get towed in multiplayer mode. So I've got a friend of mine that flies from here with me. If I want, and he's in the Cessna 172 or the plane that's supplied with the aircraft, he can tow me. I click on here and it'll set it up. Next, you've got your aircraft settings. We're going to set the headphone simulation to on, which is also that switch there. But you can also look at canopy tints, oxygen systems, flam systems, etc., and contamination. So, for example, how many bugs you've got on your screen, for example. All right, we're going to have contamination at 0. And you can also sort your adverse yaw and brightness out your avionics. Moving on, we can then change the layout of our instruments. I won't do that, but you can basically change where you want everything. And then you've got your speed ribbons, etc., and how you sort out your navigation system. And you can see all that there, look. And then you can set your task. Okay, so we're going to go back here. You saw that menu a minute ago. This is what it's talking about. All here. Okay, perfect. So let's do our checks before we launch. So A, B, C, D, E is our pre-flight. So A, airframe, we've spoken about that. B is ballast. So we currently, if we go on here, you can see the water that we've got on board. We'll do our calculations. So I'm currently 176 pounds. Cargo, there's no cargo. We've got 22 pounds for the winch, so for the motor. And then our ballast is currently set at 71%. Okay, so we've got 71% of water. We'll ditch that before we land, and then we'll fill it back up again later on. Okay, so that's ballast. Controls, again, what we'll do now is we'll check our controls. Now, it's really important, like I said earlier on, in the real world, I would not carry out this check right here because my aileron is touching the floor. Okay, so it's really important that we understand that in the real world, if we're going to do the aileron check here, we're going to scrape it along the floor. We should have someone holding us. However, for the purpose of the simulator, we can do the flight control checks from here. And we can go full up and down. You see the elevator's movement there. If I move up, you can see it come down. Let's have a look. And up. There we go. And if we go over here, you can see the elevator's moving. So the aileron's moving. There we go, and that'll be the same on the other side. And we've already checked the speed brake. Okay, same on the other side. There we go. And the rudder, quick check of the rudder. Now I've got my dead zone on at the moment on here. Full left, come over this side. Full left there and full right. Perfect. So our controls have been checked. The dolly now, so you can get dollies on the wheels and you get it underneath. No dolly fixed. And environment, we've currently got an 11 knot wind. Coming from 30 degrees, that is a 40 degree crosswind, so we've got to bear that in mind when we depart. And weather is currently clear with a couple of clouds, with no known obstructions and no interruptions to our launch. The only thing I'm just looking at now that I didn't tell anyone about was this yaw string. So again, a really important element of a glider that gives you basically the wind coming over the canopy. Okay, with that in mind, we are looking good to go. Now, one thing I won't really use it on here, but I'll show you is the checklist. So the checklists here are full. Okay, so we've done that, we've done that, we've done that, we've done that. Okay, we've done all this. Emergency cut off, where is that? We've already done that. Avionics knob we've sorted, battery charging, anti-coal lights we've done, bug wipers, we've done all of this. We'll set all this. I'll set the altimeter at the runway, flam, air brakes, elevator trim, landing gear. Okay, pre-launch, because we're going to be on a tow winch, battery charging is off, motor control lever, motor arm is retracted, we'll do that in a minute. Flaps is position 5, cable connected, take up the slack, and you've got to basically wave your rudder left and right for this, and then all out on launch. We'll do that before we go. for now, what we're going to do is we're going to start the motor and we're going to just taxi to the runway. We'll do a self-launch first, and then we'll come down and we'll do a winch launch. Now, the good thing about this is the winch launch you can do wherever. So actually what we'll do a winch launch first. And the reason for that is when I land a little bit later on, we'll be a little bit further down the runway. So for now, we'll taxi to the runway. We'll select the start button there for the engine. You see the engine coming there, and we're on. I'm just going to come around here. We'll take you outside so you can see. There we go. Now, I do need to have a look at YouTube and see whether this is actually how they taxi with the wing rubbing the rubber, or whether they have like a wheel system on it. It's not something that I would be interested in doing there, is taxiing with a wheel on the floor. So with a rubber stop on the floor. But because I don't know, I've never flown one of these, I don't know what they're doing. Usually sometimes you have little wheels on the end. Okay. We'll get lined up. We're not expecting any traffic here at all, so we'll get lined up and we'll get the engine away and we'll carry out our pre-launch checks. So we've signed for the DIs in our book as well. And we'll turn in here. We'll set ourselves up nicely on the runway for the winch launch, which I hope is going to be a motor tow. There we are. Let's get us nice and straight. There we are. So the motor tow, I'm quite excited for it because I've not seen it. I've not used this one before. So whilst I've done winch launches today, I've not done a motor tow, so I'm hoping it works. Okay, let's get the engine away. And we'll bring that down. And we'll carry out our pre-takeoff checks. Okay, so first one is control. Control's full free, correct movement, no limits in travel. Ballast, we've already discussed our ballast. We do have our ballast within placard weight, and the CFG is fine. Well, straps are secure. Instruments. Okay, so now we're going to set our altimeter to the QFE. So to do that, we come over here, and if we have a look over there, hopefully it's going to change it on this one and this one as we do it. I think they're all linked. Are they all linked? No, they're not all linked. Now, where did we'll keep that one at QFE actually, I think. Yeah, we'll keep that one at QNH, sorry. What's this? Okay, there's the additional software, the quick winch. Okay, interesting. I didn't notice that earlier on, that button. But you can see there that our altitude's changed there. So we're going to keep QNH here. And I'll use QFE on here and on our transponder as well. Okay, now you can kind of see here at the moment the speed is increasing, and you'll see that it looks like we're climbing. Okay, this is because of the wind. At the moment, if you have a look at my my yaw string, the wind is currently blowing from that direction over there. Now, the actual report that I've got here at Coldrose is it's a 330 wind. So let's have a look here. So if I have a look, more info, the wind was at 330 earlier on, 320. Now 320 is over here. So I'd be expecting that string to be going in the other direction. So we'll have to have a look in a minute how the aircraft reacts when we depart. Because I've got live weather on, there shouldn't be an excuse for it, but we'll soon see. So I'm going to set my flaps to flaps setting 5. And it's really important that we program these in afterwards. That's currently flap setting 6. There we go, flap setting 5. And we set our trim. So our trim is in the neutral position. Brakes, quickly check these air brakes. So quickly out, full and in. And again, like I said before, we make sure they are secured. Now these checks in a real glider literally take 30 seconds. It doesn't take very long at all. Eventualities. Okay, so this is where I'd talk about what will happen in the event of a winch failure, a winch failure, a cable break, cable snap, etc. And primarily what we're going to do, we're going to get into the circuit if we can, if we're high enough. We're going to turn immediately to the right for this runway if we need to land immediately. Obviously, if we can, we would land ahead. Now, I had a winch failure earlier on, and we ended up landing in a field in front of us. Okay, but that's what we'll do. We'll break the cable away. We'll safely see the cable be removed from the aircraft, and we'll deal with it as and when. Okay, but this is a long runway. We can primarily, if we get an early launch failure, we can land straight ahead. Okay, and the last check would be, because all that would be done with the canopy open, because the tug plane or the winch operator will see the canopy's open, is the canopy would be closed and locked. And we are ready to go. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to request the tow. And we'll click on that here and we'll say request launch. And hopefully that's going to launch the car. No, it hasn't. I can't see a car. But you can see there the cable, sorry, the parachute. Now, if I quickly come out of the aircraft, you'll see the cable here. Okay, so this cable, you'll see the parachute here, just down there. I can't see the vehicle, so I'm guessing this has gone for a winch launch. Now this is the thing that I said I didn't like. If we come under here, look at the cable comes through the fuselage. Okay, that's not what it looks like in real life, but it's going through here and it just stops. Okay, I would have liked to have seen the actual the clips here. Okay, now for the first flight of the day, what we do is we'd have someone outside now applying pressure to that that line, and we would initiate the cable drop. So we'll do that. There it is. Cable's been released, so that works. So again, what I'm going to do now, request the launch. Now the other thing to bear in mind here is because we request the launch, we've now got a wing walker. That wing walker, in a minute when I'm ready, will signal to the winch operator that we are ready to depart. He'll then run that wing just with us for the first 5 yards, and what I'll do is we'll do the launch from out here so you can see it, and then I'll get straight back in. So to initiate this, we go give a little wiggle of our flight controls, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. There we go. He's saying we're ready. I'm going to switch straight into this as soon as I can. There he goes. He's running with us. We're launching. We're going to come down and we're up in the air. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Keep going with that now. Okay, as we get to the end of that rope, we're looking. Gears coming up. And you'll see in a minute we're coming to the end once we've leveled it out. You can see here now I'll be usually looking over this wing here. You'll see that when we're at the end of that rope, we start coming down. Look at that, look at that. Okay, and coming outside so you can view the rope. Look what happens. We snap that rope off and we move away. Okay, and then usually you'd see the rope disappear from underneath you and you'd verify it. Okay, so we'll get some forward speed now and we'll get the flaps up. We'll get our navigation back on. There we are. Perfect. Okay, so earlier on in my first review, I was trying to do some aerobatics on this, and what I should have read was the bit that said you can't have you can't do aerobatics in this glider, so it's probably why we nearly crashed it. Okay, so we'll get this trimmed out nicely for a little bit of forward flight, and we'll talk about it a bit more. You can see there are yaw strings pretty much there in the center. If I show you what happens when we yaw to the left and yaw to the right, yaw to the left, look at that string, and we obviously nearly enter a spin there. Yaw to the right, look at that string, go to the other side. Okay, so we've got to have coordinated flight. Okay, so that's on the controls and on the rudder as well. We'll get those flaps in, and there we are, and we're gliding. Okay, what we can do is have a look around, see if we can see any clouds, see if we can go and find a thermal anywhere, or take a little turn to the left, have a look to the right, look to the left and turn. Currently flying quite fast. And we'll have a little check on this. So things to bear in mind here as well. So maximum structural speed is 108 knots. Okay, so we won't cruise any faster than that. And our stall speed is 40. Now what we'll do, we'll show you what a stall looks like in this, see how it reacts. As we turn, coordinate that turn nicely, rudder and aileron. Bring the aileron in, a little bit of elevator. And we'll come down here. And we're looking good. Okay, so we'll do hassle checks. So hassle checks are height. Height is good. Airframe is approved for a stall. Straps are all secured. Security and no loose articles. Engine is currently stowed. Location, we are clear of built up areas. And lookout, quick lookout. We're good on the flam. So we're going to initiate the stall procedure. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pull up. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. What I'd expect to see is a buffet. So I'm just going to try and keep those wings level at the moment. It wants to throw me over to the left. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. And there it is. So again, what I'm going to do is get the speed, normal flying attitude, pull up quickly. There we go, and a wing over. Okay, so entering a little bit of a spin. Let's let it do it. Get it out and pull up. We've just exceeded VNE. So again, I didn't expect it to throw me out like that. So let's try it again. We've just lost quite a bit of speed there. So quite a lot of height. Let's try it again. It did throw a left wing down then. So here we go. Keep an eye on cold rows. We've got cold rows there, look. Okay, so let's have another go. Let's sort that trim out. There we are. So again, let's have another look here. Got a little bit of lift then. What I could do is take this into the Alps. See what it's like for the ridge. Okay. I won't try the stall again now. But flying wise, it's actually really nice. It's the trim. You can see I'm trimmed quite high at the moment for this. The trim range is fine though. But it flies quite nicely. Let's do a turn again to our left. Let's do quite a sharp turn, shall we? There we go. Get it round. Now we'll do the same one to our right. Should be looking to the right. Around. So it is a nice little aircraft, this. Holds well. And it is, again, it's very, very easy to fly these. Okay, so what we're looking at doing now, we're currently at about 1,700 feet. Is that right? Yeah, about 1,700 feet, looking at that. We're going to start thinking about getting down. Now, there's a couple of ways we can do this. We can either just bang the nose down and off we go. We can apply the speed brakes, we enter an orbit to get down safely. Now, the way that a glider circuit works is we are at the high key area, which is basically in line with the winch or the threshold at the end of the runway at plus or minus, at around 800 feet. Okay, and then it's the normal downwind leg, and then we'll get to low key, and that is basically when we're in line with our reference point for our landing. Reference point for our landing for this will be the runway. We'll make a decision. We'll make a decision in a minute actually whether we're going to land on the runway or on the grass. My preference is usually the grass. And then what we do, we enter a diagonal leg, a base leg, and then a minimum height of 300 foot for the final approach. So we'll get down, we lose 1,000 feet quite easily here. We'll take them down, and we'll come over this Halston over here just to get some height down, although we are in a climb at the moment. So best glide speed in this is 75 knots. What we can do, have a little turn. Okay, making sure that obviously we're not descending when we turn, although we do want to descend at the moment. I'll keep that nose looking up. There we go. Keep that speed. That's fine. Okay, there you go. Your string's a little bit, having a little bit of fun there. So again, a little bit of right rider. Let's have a look, see what it's done. It's pretty much even in there. I'm not going to go around chasing it for ages. Okay. We'll come over this beach here. And this one here, this is low bar. So we'll take a flight to the right, or a spin to the right. So we'll take a look left, look out right, and then we'll come down and we'll enter the high key area, which is the element of the circuit, again, like I've said to you, which is abeam the winch, or the opposite end of the runway. And we'll come down, we'll get a little bit of speed here. And then we'll get in. And our approach speed is going to be 54 knots. Okay, so that's what I'm aiming for. Here's low bar. So, true story, you're not really allowed to swim at low bar there because the currents are really bad. And then down that little village, I'm just going to point my nose over to it now. That's called Porthleven there. Beautiful in a storm. Okay, let's get us set ready to get back into Coldrose. Sort that trim out, there we go. And keep an eye on our runway, there's our runway there. I'm still trying to burn off that little bit of height, got 600 feet to burn off. And then we're going to enter from high key. There we go. Quite fast at the moment. Bring that down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn my TV up. And I'm going to open the window, see if we get any noise in. There we go. So again, quite a realistic sound. Okay. Let's enter the downwind leg. So again, this is where I carry out the wolf checks. So remember rightly, we've currently got ballast, so in good time now, we're going to take the water out. So water, water, and water there. If we have a look outside, you see the water's being dumped now. Okay, undercarriage. You see it sounds like an airplane undercarriage coming down there. There's the undercarriage. Okay, probably afford one more orbit here before we enter high key. So we are still 300 foot above. And climbing. Loose articles, so our loose articles are secure. Just going to limit that speed a little bit by bringing a little bit of air brake out. Just a little bit. There we are. And we're going to glide here. As we come around, low bar, and we'll get into the circuit now. Plenty of height. Again, high key is 800 feet. Have a look for that runway. There it is. Want to be around 1500 meters from it. And we're about to enter high key now. As we come around, there's the runway that we landed on. Ballast tank's fully emptied. Perfect. Okay, so my reference point now is going to be the threshold markers. Okay, we've got an aircraft somewhere on our nose, and we just saw the flam alarm go off. It could have been the winch. Okay, and we'll turn out here. Okay, we're going to start slowing down and trimming. Start trimming that out. As we come in, we want to be at around 300 foot for the approach. Quite a long runway this, so you've got to bear that in mind as well. Bear in mind we don't need to be at the end of the runway, you can land on it wherever. Okay, and F is for flaps, going to start bringing them in now. And I'm going to make sure that my speed brake is stowed, which it is. Okay, that wing has now gone past the threshold, so we could usually turn in. We're still a little bit high, so I'm going to extend just a little bit. I could throw in an orbit here now, but we are currently obviously hit a bit of lift on the way down. Obviously, as I was looking out, I've missed it. So it's okay to be high. I'd rather be high than low. We'll let the airfield go past us a little bit more, and then we'll turn onto that diagonal leg. So diagonal leg now. .45 degrees. Keep that runway in sight now. As we come around, we're at a good height. come around again, and again my approach speed for this aircraft is 54 knots. So that's what we're going to be going for. Coming in now, got the runway. We've got the flam coming off a little bit. It's going a little bit crazy. I've got nothing in my lookout at the moment. Obviously lookout being a huge part of this. Okay, flaps. And we're going to start bringing that air brake out. Confirm undercarriage down, undercarriage is down. Turning on, once we're happy, I'm going to go full air brake. And I'm going to land on the grass now to the side of the runway, on the right hand side, past the PAPI lights. So the PAPI light's now my reference point. Bear in mind that I need to be 300 foot before I start my descent. I'm at 600, which is fine. We're going to put the full air brakes in now. There we are, and I'm going to bring the flaps in as we come. 54 knots I need. So 65 knots currently. Bring that down a little bit. As we're coming down, this is looking good so far. So we're a little bit fast. Okay, got that wind coming from the left. You can see that my nose pointing further to the right. As we come in, I'm bringing those flaps in more. There's 59 knots, 57. Going to bring that speed brake out a little bit. There we go, 55. There's my reference point, the PAPI lights. There we go, aiming just a little bit to the right. And we'll start that flare over those lights. There we go. And looking up, flare, 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 flare. Turn into the wind. There we go, we're down. Keeping that stick nice and central on the brakes. Perfect. There we go. And we've landed. And we'll get those speed brakes in. Perfect. Okay, so that's the landing using. So that's the takeoff using the winch motor. Now we'll do the self-propelled mode. So for this, let's bring out the engine. And we'll quickly set up again with 25 degrees of flaps. And we'll reset our trim now. Obviously our trim is set for our landing. Do that quicker down here if we do this. Grab it and take it to 0. There we go. Perfect. So we'll do the automatic mode. So we'll use the glider's engine now, or motor. There it is. I've got it out. And again, to start it, we'll click the starter button here. Get a little bit of speed on it. Let's have a look, see if we've got it. Yep, got the speed now. Okay, so let's quickly do our pre-takeoff checks. So controls, full and free. Ballast, let's get the water back on board, shall we? So we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll do that. Now if we get our EFB up. And we go to aircraft. And we go, wrong one, to performance, ballast, let's go 67, there we go, and fill, load aircraft with that, quick fill, why isn't it done it, let's have a look, has it done it, I'm sure my things are empty, so all these should be off, 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 yep. Come on, do it. You done it earlier on. Let's try it again. 67. And done. Load aircraft. Why isn't it doing it? Okay. Seats, fine. Cargo, ballast, 67%. It's not loaded it. Let's do... There we go, it's working now. It didn't like the digits. There we go, 67%. We'll check the mass and balance, it's fine. Cool, so we're back within limits now. Okay, straps are secure. Instruments we've checked, we've got altitude of 6, that's fine. Flaps, we've got flaps set at 25. Trim is set for launch. Brakes, we've checked the brakes, we've just been using them, so we're fine. Eventualities, so we are going to be doing a self-launch. Shouldn't need to, but if we do need to get the engine out, so if we do have an issue, for example, a motor failure, we'll leave the motor in position and we'll land straight ahead. Or if we can get into the turn, we will. So we've got something currently behind us. What have we got behind us? Obviously got an aircraft over there because the flam's going off. At my height, rearwards, I can't see it. Must be one of these things activating it. Oh, there we go. It can see the truck. It can see that truck. Now it's gone. Okay, and canopy is now closed, so we can start this motor. So I'm just going to verify that flam again. I know we're okay. Here we go. So motor's on. Now I did find this quite difficult to launch with earlier on. Again, I'm not particularly used to this at the moment. So get to full power. There it is. We're down. Get that wing. There we go. And we're up. Let's get up. There we are. Get some forward speed. And then we'll climb. Undercarriage up. So again, this is the self-launching mode. It's pretty cool. Start bringing those flaps in. And then the next thing we'll do in a minute is an aero tow. We'll just go to 800 feet and then we're in a low key. We can do that now. So high key, we can do that now. Let's bring that motor down. So again, on the self-launching mode, the electric motor, see what happens when we pull it off. Look, it'll continue spinning just because we've got the air going through it, but I've got no motor on at the moment. Okay, I'm happy that we are at 800 foot, entering high key, so I'm going to stow that engine. Let's get this down and locked. Okay, there we go. It's currently stopping it, and then it'll put it down. Okay, downwind leg checks. We've got water. Let's get rid of it. 1, 2, 3. Check out the wings there. Oh, it's not coming out. Opened. Okay, it's not simulated it this time, which is a shame. Opened. Let's have a look. No, it's not simulated it. Never mind. Okay. Undercarriage is down. Loose articles stowed, and flaps will start bringing in now. Just quick check with the runway. There we go. There's our reference point. We're going to land on the runway this time. I'm going to start bringing it down. Keep looking at that runway. There we go. And we're there. So again, 45-degree diagonal. With a 54 knot approach speed. We are quite fast, so let's bring in a little bit of fair brake. There we are. And we're quite high still. There's the runway. Absolutely fine. As we come around, got that flam again. I think it's the vehicle on the ground. Okay, another bit of land flap there. Okay, got plenty of altitude to get us down. Okay, coming in again now. Just going to do that trim. Just just releasing that stick a little bit, as you can see, just so I can make sure the trim's okay. There we go, trimmed nicely now. Another bit of flap, so more trim. There we go. So again, 54 knots is my speed for the approach. Going to bring the air brakes in a little bit. So we're at 56 at the moment. We're at 300 feet. 300 feet is my minimum height, sorry, for the approach. We've got plenty of altitude now. Okay, here we go. So start that approach now. Reference point. Here we go. So again, facing to the right because we have got that left crosswind. Flaps. Going to bring the air brakes out more. There you go, full air brakes now. Again, they're coming in sideways, so we have got that wind. There you go, approach speed's good. There we go, and then we're just going to flare it and turn into that wind. There we go. Let it settle, let it settle, let it settle. There we go. Control that, and we're down. There we go, that's nice. Get into the centre if we can. Perfect. Another good landing. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, and the last thing that we will check, is the aero tow. So we've done the self-launch, we've done the motor tug launch, and we'll now do the aero tow. So I haven't yet worked out how to set up the aero tow here, because if we go on to page here, I wonder if I can set it as multiplayer tow. I wonder if that will allow me to do it. No. Request launch. Now if I go, does it ask me what launch I want? No, it doesn't, which is a shame. Because I'd like to select aero tow. Quickest way to do it though is just to reset. So quickest way to get an aero tow, end the flight. Set cold rose, set the active runway, which is there, select the aircraft again, glider, that one, square, launch method, we're going for aero tow. I want to do it on the Wilga, save them back, and then we'll start. And start flight. Now this is definitely harder on the sim than it is in the real world. Okay, here we go. So we've got our wing walker there, which is cool. There's our aircraft. Just running himself out. Okay, we'll quickly stamp on the brakes there. I'll make sure that we're happy. Okay, so in this instance, we'd usually do all of our checks. We've got our flaps and our trim set. We've got our ballast closed. Okay, we'll do a quick control check. We can't do the rudders because the rudders is the indication that we want to go. So quick control check. Yeah, happy. Can't check the rudders. Ballast we're fine. Straps are lap strap tight and shoulder tight. Instruments we've checked. We'll quickly set our height to QFE here. Let's have a look. There we are. So QFE, I'm going to stay QNH on this. Flaps have set. Trim is set. Brakes, we'll quickly check the air brakes, make sure we're happy. Air brakes checked, in. Air brakes ensure secure, air brakes are secure. Eventualities, and again at this point if we get a cable snap we're going to land straight ahead if we can. If we've gone past the airport we should have a sufficient height that we can turn back and come downwind. We'll use the right hand circuit for this. However, if we are at a point where the cable snaps right at the end of the runway, we'll land ahead to a field which is just out and to our left. Okay, canopy is closed and secured. And what I'm going to show you in a minute as well is what happens when we jettison the canopy. We'll do that before we land. it's pretty cool. Okay, so the signal to start the aero tow is to shake your rudders. There we go. All out. We'll stay in the aircraft this time. Pull it back slightly. We've got that wind correction we're going to need, so a little bit of aileron to the left. There we are, a little bit too much. Get that right. There we go. And we're lifting. There we go. And we're going to get up and we're going to stay behind the tug. There we are. That's good. And we'll stay behind the tug all the way through. And we'll follow that tug. Now earlier on I tried to do a box in the tug and it was a bit too sensitive for my liking. It was just getting some speed.
ATC services terminated. Good day.
So this is good. Undercarriage up. We'll keep the flaps where they are as well. Actually, you can start bringing the flaps up, I suppose. A little bit high. Should be nice movements here. A little bit low. Let's get up. Now, remember there is a weak link in here, so if I do fall below or above the tug too much, the weak link's gonna snap. Okay, this is good. Currently at 1200 feet. He will turn left in a second. We'll just let all that settle. Going to try and give it a little bit of trim. Getting away from me a little bit. He certainly lifts and behaves like a normal tug pilot. There we go. He's starting to turn left now. We'll do the same. There we go. So we'll follow him round. Same angle of bank. We've just gone to his left a little bit. You see that cable there? Let's get in. There we go. You see that flam going a bit mad as well. As we're pulling through. And again, just going to keep him there. Just beating him a little bit. But the idea is to keep him just in front of that canopy. Currently at 2005. I'm expecting him to rock his wings when we get down here now. He'll rock his wings, and that is the symbol to release. Should do it any second now. There we go, we'll stable there. There he goes, rocking the wings. So what I'm going to do, release the cable. I'm going to move to the left. He'll move to his right. There he goes. We'll check that the winch is free and the cable is away. Okay. Now he stays in the air for a bit, so we need to make sure that we keep him in our sights. Now if you have a look at this flam, look how it's working. As he's moving across, he's slightly below me, but now it's going to my 11 o'clock. If I moved out now, he's in a safe enough distance away from me. So the flam is really good on here and works really accurately as well. And here we are. So we'll trim this out. And we'll get our flaps in. There we go. And we'll get this for cruise. So again, it's really nice. The way it behaves, really, really nice. As you can see here. Brilliant. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go straight in and land. We won't worry about the circuit, we'll just come in. So I'm going to slip. So let's just get centered. So roll to the left, yaw to the right. You see that arch going down, it's not very well controlled. There we go. Okay, that'll do. Got Cordros here to our left, look, there it is. Tell what we'll do the overhead. Come around and have a little bit of fun. Still don't know what quite happened earlier on with the stall that got us nearly into a tell what we can do. Let's have a go now. So another go at being silly. So that trim sorted. Okay, and we're going to come up. So again, hassle checks, height is sufficient. Airframe is approved for the manoeuvre. Straps are secure. Loose articles all stowed. Engine is currently stowed. Location, we're fine, we're not above a populated area. And look out, quick look left, quick look right, above And below, drop that wing just so I can have a look below. Fine. Okay, let's go into a stall. And again, we'll do the stick check as well. So once we get into the stall, we should have no authority in our stick control. So bringing that up, enter the stall area. Now, left and right, no movement. There it comes. Get some speed. Normal flight attitude. Perfect. Now, what we're going to do now is going to try and spin it. As we get into that stall, I'm going to throw the left rudder if I can. Let me just check it. Okay, right, let's have a go. So we'll get into a stall. And we'll kick that right rudder. Doesn't really want to go into it. Doesn't really want to go into it. So we'll pull it back. There we go. Into normal flying attitude. Cool. Okay. We'll have a little bit of speed brakes play here and we'll get down. All the way down. So wolf. So water. Let's release our water. There we go. And there. If we go outside, you should be able to see it now leaking. There we go. Undercarriage is down. Loose articles stowed, and flaps will bring them out very shortly. For now, let's get our air brakes out and let's get down. Sending nicely here. Speed's good. There's the Halford River. We'll do a straight in here for Coldrose. There's the runway. It's still way too high, so we might need an orbit. Have a look at those air brakes. Look, there they are, fully extended. They are definitely too high. Actually, no, not. We can land mid runway if need be. Okay, ballast tank's fully emptied, keeping that speed down. There we go. Now I'm okay here to land mid runway because we are going to call this. We are going to finish and evaluate in a minute. Okay, landing flaps now coming in. So I'm just having a look at this. So 2 knots at 100 knots, 79. We can go to flaps 4. There we go. Just verify 4. Yep, we're at 4. No, now we're at 4. Perfect. So plenty of speed. So by the time we get to 5, we need to be into our landing range. There we go. So my reference is now. Oh, where's that tug? I'll have a look. My reference point is the first set of reference markers. Okay, let's point the nose there. There we are. Another notch of flaps in. Currently going to trim that nose down. There we go. So plenty of space over here. There we go. Landing nicely. So landing markers there just by the first intersection of the runway. Still need to get that speed down. Another notch of flaps coming in. Keep this head in. Still a bit fast, so I'm just going to pull up a little bit. Burn some of that energy off. Plenty of runway to do this. There we are. So let's pull some of that off. There we are. There's my approach. Coming just to the right. And float, 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 float. Turn into the wind. There we go. Perfect. Keep that alive. Brakes are on. Perfect. There we go. We're in. So again, what I've just noticed here, we've got no nose wheel on this as well. So usually have a little nose wheel, don't you? On here. I need to have a look and see what the actual glider looks like in reality. Let's have a look. No, there's no nose wheel there. So I'll probably scrape the bottom of it then. Cool. That is it. So let's get the obligatory photo. There we are. Turn off those markers, don't need those. There we are. Okay, so let's discuss the aircraft. Let's get inside it. Oh, I forgot to do the canopy jettison. So let's turn everything off for a minute, and we'll discuss. So we've had a look at the exterior, we've had a look at the cockpit, we've done the click test, everything works, including all the circuit breakers. We've looked at the manual, we've carried out the checklists as well, and we've done obviously the start of the motor from cold and dark. Sound test was good. We opened the canopy window as we were flying, and you could clearly see that there was what I would deem to be quite a realistic sound coming through the windows. The flarm sounds good, the sounds that the aircraft makes are good. Taxiing, absolutely fine, using the motor. And the flight test, takeoff rotation, trim behaviour, etc. All that was absolutely fine. Airborne, pitch, roll and yaw, and trim was fine. The response of the controls was fine as well. Stall behaviour, if I was being critical, I'd like to see the buffet. So when you get into a stall and you pull back, the aircraft would usually buffet. Didn't get that on this. It's like a crazy little shake. Didn't get it, but it's, again, unless you've actually done that in reality, you wouldn't know it's a thing. Autopilot, there is none. Navigation systems, obviously it has got a full integrated navigation system. We haven't used that. We weren't doing a cross-country flight. We were literally just taking it up to land. However, I'm sure that the plan, if we put one in, would be absolutely superb and would be fine to use. And actually, I'll probably do that in a bit. I'll just do a live stream a little bit later on with this aircraft without reviewing it. Aircraft specific systems, obviously with the motor itself, we've proved the motor works, we've proved the motor's effective. We've done one launch and we've still got nearly 100% of battery power left, so obviously we could go for as long and as far as we wanted really on that motor before we got bored. We didn't break anything in the air, so we didn't do a what if test. What we can do actually is let's have a go at it, at how it reacts. Let's get the power select back on and let's have a quick look. If we shut the canopy, we'll quickly set it up because we are halfway down the runway, which is fine. If we bring the air brakes in, let's have a look at a canopy failure. So let's have a look at a cable failure if we can. Let's get that set to 25. Get the air brakes in, undercarriage is down. We won't worry about ballast. Let's just have a look at it and see how it reacts. Let's go for request a launch. There we go. We've got the guy on the left. Yep, so we're on a winch launch now. We'll get set. Let's get back in the middle of the cockpit. Let's have a go and see what happens when we do a cable brake. So for this, I'm going to pull away from it. Okay, so let's do our rudders. Let's have a look. There we go. We're coming. Just going to yaw. There we go. We're up. There we go. Done. Hang on. Ready? Let's see if we can do it. So it didn't signal that it's broken. Yes. Oh, no, it's there. Look. Let's see if we can get it to do it. Acting really badly here. Let's see if we can do it. Pull back. Pull back. Pull back. Pull back. We're stuck on it. Can't get it to brake. Why can't I get it to brake? We're still connected onto it at the moment. Okay. We'll brake it ourselves, shall we? There we go. I tried to pull it off. Didn't work. Why is that going off? What am I doing here? I've not done something right. Electrical charging is not available while flying. Have I got it in charge mode or something? I don't know. We'll leave it off anyway. Right, let's do this. Watch what happens. So canopy now, I've just selected it to jettison. So initially you can see the airflow, it's not liking it, it's not liking it, it's not liking it. Watch what happens when I shake it. Ready, let's go over. Oh no. We are now a convertible glider. So again, it's another nice little bit for this aircraft. Now canopies come off. Let's declare this and consider it as an emergency. So let's see where we can go. I've got a field picked over here. Let's go here. I found my field. Can I make it back to the runway? I could definitely make it back to the runway, but that's no fun. Let's do a field landing. We're going to come into this field here. Now land on this one earlier on. You can see that the field is uphill. So I'll tell you what, actually, we're going to come over here. There is quite an uphill field there. We've got the one... No, I'm not going to use that one. I used it earlier on. We're going to use that one there. So here we go. Let's get our air brakes out. See if we can do it. See if we can stop in time as well. Nice separation away from the town of Helston here. Ish. We are quite fast. Let's get it down over the hospital. No, it's not the hospital. Don't know where that is. Let's go here. We are very fast. Over the buildings. Oh yeah, we've got plenty of room. Okay, here we go. And up. Oh, bit of a bounce. Let's get back down. We go. Oh, it didn't like that. It's given us our canopy back. It didn't like that, did it? So let's see where we are. Right, I had to cancel my last review because I started messing about too much. So I won't mess about too much. Let's just go and land. So we've got plenty of space over here to land. It's very quiet at the moment because everything's off. Coming, got the threshold there. Absolutely fine with this. I'm going to land with a tailwind here. So here we go. We're on base now. First notch of flaps, undercarriage. Undercarriage down. Ballast, we didn't take any up. Flaps coming in. And we'll land. So yeah, I was messing around a little bit. Let's get rid of this again. Off you go. There we go. Let's feel that wind through our hair. Full air brakes. Grass landing. Get aim for the middle of the runway. Going over the runway here. There we are. Perfect. A little bit to the left. Happy lights down at the other end, but we're fine here. Come up over this taxiway sign. Keep off that runway. Keep off that runway. That's better. That's better. That's better. Big bit of yaw. Big bit of yaw. Oh, bounce. There we go. Let's get on that tail. Let's get on that wheel. There we go. And brake. And brake. Control it. Control it. Control it. God, that brake didn't like that at all. Cool. So there you go. No canopy landing. It didn't like that at all then. Cool. So there's me messing around a little bit towards the end. So eventualities, I couldn't get it to snap that that cable then on the launch. However, I can verify that the cable snaps do work. 'Cause I had two earlier on this afternoon. I don't know why I couldn't get it to snap then, but yeah. Okay, let's talk about the PS5 version. So it is smooth. It doesn't stutter. We've all seen that. Texture loading is absolutely fine. Hasn't had any crashes or freezes. It's been completely responsive. Controller bindings, obviously that is something you do have to do because this has got an engine. Usually I'd use speed brakes on my HOTAS throttle. Because this has got an engine, we use that. Busy airport performance. So this isn't a busy airport, but you can see it's got quite a lot of buildings. It's got the weather on real. It's quite highly textured. And we've got quite a few static aircraft, so it was still pulling a bit out of the graphics, but it performed really well. We haven't tried it with VR, and we had no memory issues. So let's have a look at the scorecard then. So for this exterior modelling, I'm going to put this as an 8 out of 10. Now, the reason why I've gone 8 out of 10 is that it really was a little bit frustrating. Well, actually, I tell you, before I give it an 8 out of 10, I'm going to have to do a little bit of homework. I'd expect it to have something on the nose, like something to protect it, which it hasn't, like a nose wheel or something. I'll have to check and see if that is a thing. However, I really don't like the way that the winch rope goes through the belly of the aircraft. I think that they could have just modelled it where the winch line was actually in a proper hook. Again, what I need to do. I've never flown one of these gliders in real life. I need to find out exactly what it looks like underneath. But I think generally it is really good. There was just a few little things. I mean, have we got any bugs on this? No, I don't think we've even got that setting on. But in reality, I think actually it's really good, and I think an 8, if I can have a look and see the real picture, I'm going to put this between an 8 and a 9 out of 10. The cockpit modelling, again, whilst I've jettisoned the cockpit, probably shouldn't have done that. We've obviously looked around the cockpit and we found that actually it is brilliant. I do think that is a solid 9.5 out of 10. Sounds, again, I think as far as they can do it with a glider, you can hear the motor whizzing as we're flying. You can hear the air going over the aircraft. When we opened up the canopy peephole, the window, the sound sounded realistic. So actually, I think the sounds they've got nailed on. The flam, I think, is it sounds really good as well, and I like the headphone mode. So I would actually put this again as a 9 out of 10. The system depth. So at the moment, it's, we've seen the navigation system, we've seen all the other parts to it. I'm going to put that now at a 9 out of 10 straight away. But what I am going to do this afternoon, I'll probably load up in a free flight later on and stream it, but won't do it as part of the review, is we'll carry out a cross-country flight. But it is a 9 out of 10. The flight modelling, again, for me, 9 out of 10. Easy for this. It's really well modelled, I think. And like I said earlier on, I did find the aero tow element of this actually harder than the real world towing, which is actually quite nice. I think that when it comes back to me going and doing another aero tow in real life, I'll probably find it a little bit easier because I'm used to this. Ground handling, absolutely fine. I love the visual effect with the wing walker, and again, I do think that actually there could be a dolly placed on the aircraft. Documentation and checklist, it's a solid 10 for me. The manual's really good. The EFB checklist is really good. The bits that are around the aircraft we saw on the bottom of the canopy, the pre-flight checks here, I think it just makes it so much better. And the fact that they have used it for the EFB, unlike some other aircraft providers out there, makes it really, really good. VR experience we haven't done, and value for money. So this is the big thing. I think if I was going to buy this aircraft on its own for £22, whilst I think it's worth it, I think there's other aircraft that you can have more fun with for that value of for that money. So £22 for a glider, I do think is expensive. However, the fact that you get the tow plane with it as well, I think £22 for this is a steal. And again, I think for the level of work that's gone into this aircraft and into the winch trucks, which we didn't get to work today, but we will try and do that again shortly offline. I think it is definitely value for money. Now, what I haven't mentioned until now is I got this aircraft on a free trial yesterday. I was flying it yesterday and enjoyed it. I did do a review offline but didn't put it up. I actually bought this aircraft today, so I purchased it. And again, I wouldn't purchase anything that I didn't think was value for money. So if you do like glider flying, for £22 for this and the aircraft that comes with it, I keep forgetting its name, it is, I think, very good value for money and is worth it. So hopefully this has helped you to make up your mind as to what you think about the AS33. I do think it is really good value for money. It's been really well designed, and the developers should get a pat on the back. So if you have enjoyed this review, or you have any remarks on the AS33 or anything else for that matter, pop it in the comment section. If you've enjoyed it, a subscribe would also be fantastic. And that is it. So, a review of the Got Friends AS33, and it is a massive, massive, massive thumbs up from us. So, for now, thank you very much. I'm now going to take a walk over the airfield and try and find my canopy that I jettisoned. In the meantime, take care.